People, Deluded, I'm back again, your favourite YouTuber. Thank you very much for tuning in. Good morning again. Arsenal specific Emery tactics board is here now. For all the criticism Emery is facing, and rightly so, I do believe, well, for me personally, I believe in the manager. I want him to do well. I'm not calling for Emery out. It's a questioning thing in that we have to question now. The man has been here for 18 months. We have improved in some aspects depending on how you manipulate it, but there's no significant improvement in one singular aspect. Looking around the squad, there's not one thing as a fan you can really say we've significantly improved on and cling on to that. For me, the big thing was coaching. Whatever way you dress it, wrap it up, coaching was a massive part of this role, people. Coaching is a massive role. Obviously, there are some players that have left and some players that are still within the squad that are probably beyond coaching. But Emery, we're good. He was giving money, but we're not City. We're not Liverpool to a fair degree, even though they didn't really buy anyone in the summer. Money is not going to be there. We need to coach players. And he's been given the platform to do that. I heard every excuse under the sun. It's not his squad. It's not this. It's not that. And a lot of it was true. But I can't really see a single thing to really cling on and say, yeah, he's improving us at this or that. I like his fight, I like his adaptability, but there's two sides to every coin. People can say 1 minute you can be a tactical genius. Could you potentially run the risk of being a tinker man? For me, defensively was the one. We're going to get on to other stuff, but defensively was the one I want us to improve on. And I've been disappointed. Not disappointed in the sense that I personally did not expect us, even last season or this season with 18 months or so into the role, to be able to defend like a prime Italian side of the 80s, for those of you that were around at the time. But for me, I do think we should have made significant progress. A lot of people are saying play Holding, bring in Bellerin and Tierney. Of course they should all play. Holding's probably one of our best defenders. Them two are our best right and left sided fullbacks respectively. Emery likes to use the flanks. In theory, he gets them back, he's got a stronger option. But I say this, are you currently seeing a defensive system or a way of defending to say it's as white and black as these better players come in and will be playing well? Because it's not true. We're not. Again, we're better than Burnley. I'm not trying to beat Emery with any stick, but I guarantee Burnley, Sheffield United, obviously for different dynamics. If you take who they probably deem as key defenders or regular starters out of their back 3, 5, 4, whatever you call it, yeah, and throw in some others, of course, there's going to be a noticeable difference if your best players aren't there. But do you think Burnley, Sheffield United, etc., there's going to be a dramatic drop-off with us if we were to change some of our defensive options? The answer is no. And that's down to coaching. I don't see our defence able to hold a line. Bellerin's gone, for example. We're shuffling across sort of thing properly. Wingers are coming and tucking in. Midfielders are dropping to support. At times, against Liverpool, I'll be fair, I did see a sort of shape. But I don't really see them sort of things there off the ball. I'm not seeing a real sort of thing in midfield to say it's as white and black as these lot return and we immediately start playing better. I messed up the example of what I was doing earlier as well. But defensively, in an attacking sense, we are not improving. I said it last year. A lot of people are shocked that we're in this stage. We have improved, but we haven't significantly improved. We're literally in the same spot when Emery came over. Of course, we have improved. Of course, he's installed some things, but key words, evidently to someone that doesn't give a crap about Arsenal, doesn't give a crap about football, looking at us before Emery and during, there's no evidently improvement. Yeah, there's a bit of fight. For me, I like how we're slightly better against the top 6 now than under Wenger in his previous 2 years. But it's not there, people. It's not there. We don't know what we are. Obviously, Arsenal, you want to be an attacking side and whatnot, but you can't even criticise Emery for like a Jose thing of being negative, because he hasn't shown that he's a defensively minded manager. He hasn't shown he's an attacking manager. I'm starting to think, are we trying to do too much? And these things were here. They were here during the 22 unbeaten run. Substitutions, struggling to break teams down. These were all being whispered about. When people were so quick to beat the stick of, yeah, it's all good now. We were 8 points better off at the start of last season. We're scoring more goals. You don't know all the statistics that were coming out when it's doing well, and you're seeing all the negative statistics now. These things were here, and I genuinely believe if you was watching Arsenal Football Club, you saw these same things. Now, opinions are subjective, but that's what I genuinely believe, and that's why at the time I gave him a 5 out of 10. Because there's still more to see. We heard every rule on every excuse under the sun. It's not his squad, blah blah blah. This is fully Emery's squad now. Whether the players he's bought or were here before him or come from the academy, that's his squad now. But the only exception is Mustafi, and I only say the exception is because he's told Mustafi, yo, listen, you're not involved this season, and Mustafi still said he's been allowed to marginalise Ozil. Ramsey, whatever the club said, he was allowed to go. Mkhitaryan's farmed out on loan. Ceballos brought in. He's allowed to keep Saliba for a year on loan. This is his squad. These are the players he wants for this year, and I have not seen a significant improvement, and I have to wonder what we're doing. Defensively, where it starts for me, in terms of attacking play, we are not there. Beyond our individual brilliance with our players and whatnot, we're not scoring. And I think it's a miracle how Aubameyang is able to score goals here when he's out on the left wing, crossing for someone half his size in Torreira. Away games in general, you saw, I'll make the example. He's isolated and it's a lonely night up front where there's no real service. You're not really playing with attacking flair and whatnot. There's not really one significant... You look at this Arsenal team and you say, sad to say, but you look at it and you say, what is this Arsenal team about? You don't know. You don't know what this team is about. This is an attacking phase of play, people. It might not look like much, but this is the typical starting positions. Fair enough, the centre-backs might be on the edge of the byline, but you got... I swear down, you was just working. I made sure if I started the vid. But you've got the centre halves. You've got the fullbacks. I have to really press down on this. Yeah. Sheffield United had our number because you saw them press. When the centre halves did receive it was a bit like hot potato. But naturally, if they're pressing and they have wing backs and it's like this, we're going to distribute it to the flanks, people. And that's where we was obviously going wrong. It was just continuous long balls to further forward or long balls into Aubameyang. And when you're playing against three defenders and there's nobody up with you really and truly, and you've got a 5-man midfield, it's a myth, people. It's a myth. Teams have our number. And for me, what bugs me more is that they know it's an open book. Like I said, against Sheffield, you saw hot potato. It's coming here, it's coming here, it's coming here. There's no options for the man in possession. There's no people making runs for the sake of it to drag people out of position and things. There's no options. So you find it either here or it's a long ball. And one of these centre-halves will get tight. The other one will look at the knockdown and one will cover sort of thing, people. If not, like that. These lot will come back further, so will the midfield. And we can't break them down like you saw, people. It's Aubameyang by himself. He'll try and get the knockdown. Nobody's there, people, and it is quite jarring for me to keep seeing this, because like, what are we trying to do as a team, people, really and truly? Let me just fix these things back. And the first thing I actually wanted to speak about, people, I don't have a problem with playing out from the back. A lot of people are speaking about, oh, he's playing out from the back. There's nothing wrong with playing out from the back. It's the intention of playing out from the back. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong. Playing out from the back, the whole point of that is to start attacks from your goalie, more or less, to get to the opposition's goal. There's no intensity. There's no, and it leads me to believe there's no plan. We're just playing out from the back for the sake of playing out from the back. You look at other teams. Obviously, other teams have better players. But Pep Guardiola, they're playing out from the back for a specific reason. They're trying to disrupt the opposition. Obviously we are, but I can't say that's the same case for Arsenal because it's so slow. Naturally, think about it. If these lot have had an opportunity, people, and their team is caught a bit 6s and 7s sort of thing, the ball has started with Leno. Naturally, what is it going to tell you, people? It's either got a quick ball to Luiz or Socrates, a quick ball here, maybe inside to Xhaka, well, I'm saying maybe, or Guendouzi, and it's a quick ball here into Aubameyang or something like that, or it's a quick one over the top, or you can just play as slow as you want, but start the move quick. We don't start our moves quick, and it leads me to believe like there's no real plan for playing out from the back. We're not playing out from the back to genuinely hurt the opposition, clearly, people, or there'd be more intensity in our play. Last year, you could say fair enough. It's his first year and all of these things, but it's coaching. Coaching is a big part of this team, people. Coaching, we can buy as much players as we want. Coaching a team understanding of how we like to play is how we're going to get top four. And that identity is not here. That identity has not been defined by Emery. There's no identity, and that's almost telling on Emery because he's been here for a while now, people. It's telling. It's slow, it's unorganized, it's stagnant, it's going through the motions. Ultimately, it's not good enough, people. I really like Emery, but we need to open up the floor for constructive criticism. We know the players are different. And what bugs me the most, people, is probably this. You've got the fullbacks. Let me make sure. Yeah. Typically a disconnect. Now, this is typical. Ignore the blue. Ignore everybody in blue. This is typically our starting position. Okay, maybe a bit. You've got the centre halves there peeling off. There's no point our fullback staying here. If we're playing out from the back, there's no point. On top of just playing out from the back of modern day football, you need attacking fullbacks, but you need them further up the field to offer an outball for if Leno, like at times when it failed against Wolves because they had us, Sheffield because they had our number. Balls out here, yeah. Balls out here. We're almost an open book in that Kolasinac. Obviously, it's the cutbacks, but this is it, people. If he's not gonna do that, yeah. Oh, don't drop. If Leno's not gonna do that, then typically, what do you see happens, people? He's got these options, but actually, as these lot pull out, what do you see? You see Xhaka go into this spot. You might see Guendouzi. In theory, you should see the third midfielder further up the field, because what is the point if Xhaka's gone and Guendouzi's covering the space? What's the point him being here? There's not a ball you can really play. But this is where the disconnect comes. Because it's slow and whatnot, teams are able to have our number and really get back into position, people. Do you get it? They've got us in position. They get back into position and all of these things. And then there's no ball on. There's no ball. When Xhaka gets the ball, what is the intent? Now, Xhaka, people can say what they want about him. I have my own opinions. But when you get him the ball and you turn, where is his options? It's typically backwards and sideways. And that's on players bottling it and being poor, but that's also on the tactics. Where's the movement? We take too long. It might go from Xhaka into Guendouzi, Guendouzi sideways, eventually end up here and go to Aubameyang. But again, he's swarmed and the moves break down. And like you saw against Sheffield United, when the ball, if this is the ball and it's second or first balls, they're winning it every time, people. And it's becoming frustrating. We have become an open book. Every manager needs to be stubborn, but Emery is showing certain things that previous managers at this club had shown before he got this job and not learning from it, man. We hear all this video analysis and all of these things. Why are you not learning from this? If there's enough self-analysis and self-reflection, we should not be playing like this. I don't expect our defensive record to improve overnight. I don't expect our away form to improve overnight. But the progress hasn't been good enough. And for me, if it was a thing where we're still making these mistakes or several things are happening, but I'm watching on the TV or live on the game, the players' thinkings have changed. Rather than allowing midfield runners, for example. Let's just say, how many, it's a completely irrelevant now, people. But how many times have you seen a midfield runner? There might be 2 men in midfield, 3 men. Yeah, 3 men in midfield. The opposition striker's up there. He might have the ball. Pay attention, he might have the ball. He might have the ball, yeah. It doesn't look like something. But you see a midfield runner unpicked up. My man might have a shot, it rebounds. My man taps it in. How many times have you seen that? And I know I've definitely talked about it in tactical reviews. How many times have you seen that, people, where we're not switched on and they're just simply more switched on than us? If it was a thing where taking it back now, people, this same midfield runner made the run, but one of our midfielders said, yo, listen, he's trying to run, you know, let me follow him. He follows him, but he's still unable to prevent the goal, then I'll still be frustrated. But I can say, all right, cool, we're clearly on the training ground or whatever, and that's just one example you can apply. We're learning, we're improving sort of thing. I'm not seeing that, people. Again, the players might feel hard done by my comments because they're training week in, week out. But I'm sorry, people. We don't know what Emery is about. I like Emery. I want him to do well. No, I hear people saying he's not good enough, he's not a good manager, he's this and that. Listen, look at his CV, he's won European titles. Yes, you look at the away form with Seville and there's been times he's got iffy, but he is a good manager. But I have to be constructive. I love my football club more and I'm not seeing it. And I don't advocate sacking, I wouldn't advocate getting rid of him now. But whether he is the long-term man to help us, really and truly, who knows? Because it's looking like the best thing he is doing right now is he's not emotionally tied with any of these players. And whether I agree with it or not, certain players could be moved on and resources can be reinvested. But I'm not seeing it. Whatever way people try and dress it about money, about players, coaching is a big part or was a big part or is going to be a big part of how this club moves forward. How we coach defensively, patterns of play, balance, all of these sort of things, and they're not there, people. They're even, I'm not even going to show it because you've seen it. We were all gassed off Emery coming and the intensity and pressing and all of these things. There's no consistent press from us. So what are we doing in training? Again, I don't want to look at Chelsea's situation, and Chelsea are not perfect, but Lampard's been there 2 minutes and there's already a blueprint. You get it, people? So what are we trying to do? Are we trying to do everything so we're doing nothing? Is this what we're doing? Because this is the telling thing. This is what we are. Lack of ideas, lack of creativity, lack of balance. This is what Arsenal Football Club at the moment is, because that's what we're seeing on a football field. There's no shying away from that. There's none of, like I said, I want Tierney to start. There's no excuse for him not to start beyond what I'm seeing as a fan. He might not be ready and all of these things that the manager is seeing. Because I remember Pepe, credit where due, Pepe were all banging on for him to start, and he's taken a while, similar to Torreira last year. So maybe that's why I don't always see these men straight away. But none of it makes sense, man. Best players are not playing. That it don't make no sense. And truly, if Holding or whoever people deem as the first choice centre-half pairing, Bellerin, who's not perfect but our first choice, and Tierney, who I believe can be a linchpin in this side for a couple of years or moving into the future. If you get all of these options back together with Leno, and there's not an improvement a month or so down the line defensively, obviously I want it quicker with these individuals, then Emery might not be the man, because that would be your first choice back five. The back five is important, people. This is even from pre-season. Check my videos from pre-season. I'm saying defensively we're looking shaky, and it's just continued, people. Yeah, we had injuries. Yes, we're going to have injuries, but there has to be a baseline of performance. There has to be. It has to be a thing where, yes, you want Bellerin, Holding, etc., first choice defence. But if Maitland-Niles is there, if Socrates and Luiz is there, if Kolasinac, there should be a base level of performance defensively. And for me, going back to the key defenders, he's got that now. Everyone's fit. I need to see these lot on the same page. People shuffling across, you get it, people? Covering the space. Wingers tucking in as well. This is what I want to see, people, from our defence. When one man steps out, the next man holds the line, sort of thing. You might cover because we might not be trying to play a high line, and we might just do that, and then someone might drop. But this is what I want to see. I want to see our back four on the same page, people. And then it comes into our midfield. How our midfield protect us. If one engages, what does the other do? There's midfield runners. Oh, you forgot about him. Let me go and get him, sort of thing. Because the midfield get away with not helping us defensively a lot. Or people just focus on the defence when it's the whole team. Stop showing off, man. Doing reviews and that. Dropping. But that's how it's supposed to be, people. That's how it's supposed to be. And then, obviously, you've got the first line of defence, which people forget about, people. Do you know how good Lacazette, Saka, Pepe, Aubameyang, whoever you want as a front three, they're all relatively quick, they're all good technically, they can all play a pressing game. These should be our first line of defence, people. These lot should be the ones that are pressing when teams are trying to play out from the back, people. This is the goals you continuously see. When people are trying to play out from the back, if they beat us, and you can see that, okay, cool, teams might be further up the field, we might have counter-attacked and it broke down. Do you get it? There might be a man here, you know, people might be at 6s and 7s, because it happens, people. I need to see this. If they break, let's just say they break, they're gone. I need to see someone making a smart foul to break them down. Or if they're unable to do that and they get away, I need to see, even though it's not necessarily his job on the right wing, he's seeing that it's 2v1. There's a centre-half not there. So the play's developing. Ball comes into him. He reads it. Ball comes in, he tackles. And that's down to the coaching. I focused on Emery in this vid. The players need to be smart enough as well. Don't let the players, it's not all Emery. Don't let the players get away with anything, people. But this is the things I need to see. I don't see it. If we don't, regardless of this though, we need to keep perspective. We're 5th. There's 30 games played. I think we've played 9 games or so this season so far, people. Forgive me if I'm wrong. So there's still a lot of football to be played. There's still a lot of football to be played. But like last season, our destiny is in our hands. The reason we don't get top 4 will not be from other teams. We had a golden ticket last year. We've got a platinum ticket this year. And if we mess it up, question marks. Question marks. It weren't because other teams are so good this year. Do I think Chelsea could probably beat us in a game? how we defend, how they defend, it'd probably be a bit about even. We failed to beat United, but United's the only team I genuinely think we're playing better than or have a better chance of getting top 4 than. I think it's still even with everybody. I think Spurs, Chelsea, Arsenal, you can't rule out United if they start winning. We're all fighting. But none of these sides are better than the other, really. We're just nitpicking. So if we don't get top 4, it's down to us. It's down to how we've played in games like Sheffield United, how we've dropped points against Watford, how we might drop points even, well, we are going to drop more points this season. It's down to us. Like in the last, 8-10 games last season, where it was down to us. We knew the running, we knew the implications, and we still messed it up. And these are the things we need to improve. If you can't do that, if you can't keep a cool head on a Monday night at Sheffield United, considering that Chelsea have won, Spurs have dropped points, and so have United, and knowing what you need to go out there and do, then how can 5 years or so down the line can you challenge for league titles where the pressure's even more? How can you be in Liverpool City's spot? A lot of it ultimately falls with the manager, and I felt last year Emery got a free ticket to a degree because he did get criticised, but it's his first year and all of these things. But for me, all of these things were here. The lack of identity, relying on individual brilliance but no real fluid play. All of these things were here. And they've been here. And they weren't improved on in pre-season. So I have to say, what are we doing in training? What are we doing in training, really? I don't know, people. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. It is what it is. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. And what annoyed me more is his post-game comments, people. You know, Emery's post-game comments. It's important to remember, I think Aubameyang had one shot in the box. No, we had one shot in the box last night. Well, on Monday, I believe. Statistically, it said, but I'm sure remember we had more. We had only 5 or so shots around the 70th minute mark. So what is this? We're playing in one gear, whether we're winning, losing, or drawing. Yeah, we should have had a penalty on Monday night. But he has said, and which is quite jarring, when asked if we deserved more in that game, most managers would have just straight up said, no, we didn't, Carl. We weren't at it. He said, really, my point of view tonight is that there are things to analyse and improve. Defensively, at the beginning of the match, they pushed and we didn't stop them. We didn't concede a lot of chances, which is true at a point. Both teams had 5 shots each, but I believe we did. But they had corners offensively and they can score from corners. We had more than them. But we know they're a strong team in that situation and they use it to win matches. So why was the marking so poor? In other situations throughout 90 minutes, I think we controlled it in the moments to create more chance. I think that means chances. To create more chance. It says chance. I copied and pasted this. We didn't score tonight. But if we played another match like tonight, I think it's more easy to achieve them points. Now, what kind of deflection nonsense is that? Like I said, I back Emery, but what is that? What is that? We created more chances on another day we win. Yeah, we might win another day, but 5 shots, lack of creativity, having to bring on a creative midfielder after you realise your lineup isn't there. Come on now, man. Let's be honest. What kind of bubble is this? Come on now, man. We didn't concede a lot of chances, but we conceded that crucial one that made us not walk away with 3 points. The devil is in the details. Life is about the final margins. Getting top 4 is by the final margins. We missed out by a bloody point last year, people. We shouldn't be talking about on another day and all of these things. What are you talking about, Emery? This is what makes my blood boil, because just be honest. We were poor. Sheffield were relatively superb. They walk away with 3 points. We must improve. It is what it is, people. Oh, it's a joke, man. I can't. You know me. My head really gets hot, people. But it's a joke thing, man. When you see things like that, it's a joke, man. It's a joke. Considering our way.